everyone. Today we are going to look at designing your classroom learning environment. When environments are engaging, they support students' participation in the learning engagements, and that will promote development, independence, curiosity, and learning. Now, the environments that foster student engagement, creativity, and curiosity, you will see the students and teacher using open-ended materials in small groups, large groups, and one-on-one. Our objectives today are we will look at the essentials of an effective learning environment. We will examine the physical space, the use of open-ended materials, and plan for large group, small group, and one-to-one interactions. We all know that a well-designed learning environment can increase a student's independence and engagement in learning. What makes up the effective learning environment? Well, we have to look at three things right now. We have a well-designed physical space. We have use of open-ended materials. And we have purposefully planned groupings. The physical space, I once again went over to the Kaplan website and I designed my own space, format a plan for my design. I have to consider the strengths and the limitations of your design as well. I know looking at my design, I may have to make changes, so we will be arranging and rearranging according to student needs. Remember, this is a work in progress. You need to adjust your design to meet your needs of your students all throughout the year. Let's look at this from a student's perspective. Let's zoom in to examine each classroom learning environment. Take notes and share your thoughts in the comment section after the video of what the student's reaction would be to each space. Consider welcoming. Consider an adequate space. Designing the classroom learning environment. As you watch this video, I want you to consider the strengths and the limitations of the design. Then reflect on your own classroom design. Can you adjust your design based upon the strengths and the limitations?
This presentation will provide an opportunity to think about the way the classroom space is organized and how to optimize children's participation in the classroom spaces, how to make them areas for learning. An effective and engaging classroom environment takes careful thought and planning, but it's important. A well-organized classroom that is interesting, orderly, and attractive contributes to children's participation and engagement with the learning materials and activities. This engagement, in turn, contributes to children's learning. It's all a part of helping children achieve school readiness and success in school and beyond. Let's look at it from a child's perspective. We want children to feel safe and comfortable in the classroom. We want them to be interested in the learning activities and to take full advantage of being at school. And take full advantage of the activities you've planned and the materials you've selected. It can be helpful to get down at a child's level and take a look at the classroom. Does it feel welcoming and inviting? Is there enough room to move, make choices, and stay involved with a toy or activity or project? And does the room help the child know what to do and what's expected? There are all sorts of classrooms. They differ by size and shape, amount of light and wall space, placement of sinks and counters, and amount of storage. Figuring out how to design the physical space and to maximize children's interactions within the space will take some time. Arrange the space so that noisy areas are separated from quiet areas. Locate centers next to needed storage or equipment. Use furniture or other items to provide boundaries. But make sure that the adults can see all of the areas of the room. Make a space for the whole class to gather as well as areas for smaller groups to work and play. Think about traffic patterns. Plan so that children can move easily from space to space, but also discourage running and wandering. It will take some time and creativity to make it all work. Once again, it takes careful thinking and planning to make the right selections. Ideally, all of the materials contained in a center or an interest area will support children's development and learning. So, think about how the materials relate to lesson plans and learning goals. Make sure they are culturally relevant and meaningful to children's lives. Provide sufficient variety and quantity, but not so much as to overwhelm the children. And plan for integration of learning across domains, as well as what you'll need to individualize for the children in your group. Teachers want to be intentional about how they group children, whether it's a decision made in the moment or as part of lesson planning. Match the size of the group with the purpose of the activity. Think about the children who will be in the group. Young children need opportunities to participate and learn with the whole group, smaller groups, and they will thrive with a bit of one-on-one time with an adult.
Designing the classroom contents. It's those open-ended materials that I talked about earlier. Are they designed with learning goals in mind? Do you consider what is written in your lesson plans? And what is critical to the students' individual learning goals? Those are things to keep in mind. Do you have a variety of open-ended materials with enough materials for students to share? And are there integrated curricular or individualized materials in each station? Look at the student-initiated and guided learning within the learning stations. Books in each learning station for the purpose of student research. Paper and writing materials for developing ideas, formulating a plan, and documenting student work. We also want a quantity of open-ended materials for students to share, and a print-rich environment that may include, but not limited to, picture schedules, routines, procedures, and student documentation. And we know we all need the toys, the tools, and the manipulatives to carry out our work, the virtual lab school. And while we're watching, we're going to look at the questions. What are your takeaways? What did you notice? What did you learn? And what did you find helpful?
Your environment is the foundation of your curriculum. According to Dodge, Kolker, and Harriman in the Creative Curriculum for Preschool, an effective environment sends children a variety of messages about their learning. Let's learn about these messages and how you can make sure children receive them. First, your environment should say, "This is a good place to be." You can do this by making your environment feel home-like and comfortable. Remember, your classroom is an extension of home and is a stable place for children. Use neutral decorations and furnishings that remind children of home. Provide soft spaces with pillows, cushions, or area rugs. Consider framing artwork. Your environment should say, "You belong here." Make sure you post children's artwork, photos, or writing. This helps children know they are part of the classroom community. Remember to include photos of families as well. Classrooms should say, "This is a place you can trust." Children need safe and predictable spaces. They also need safe and predictable routines. Make sure your classroom is neat and orderly. Make changes to your materials and spaces as needed, but avoid making frequent changes. Give children time to get comfortable. A posted schedule also helps children know they can trust the place. Remember to post a schedule for children that includes pictures, and a separate schedule for adults. Everyone needs some time alone, so your space should say, "There are places where you can be by yourself when you want to." Provide areas where just one or two children can play. A cozy reading area or quiet computer area can provide some respite from the excitement of a preschool classroom. Children should know you can do many things on your own here. Design your space with independence in mind. Label cubbies and shelves. Make sure that materials are where children can reach them. Finally, every preschool space should say, "This is a safe place to explore and try out your ideas." Offer lots of opportunities for problem solving and experimentation throughout the day. Offer open-ended materials that let children be creative.
He's doing? What do you think he's going? Where do you think?
Provide extended time for play.
He's looking for his family?
Yeah, I found one.
We design the classroom groupings. We need to make sure we have our space for our small groups, our whole groups, and our individual, if they need some alone time, or even one-on-one with just another child or the teacher. All right, everyone, let's review what we learned today. What did you learn today about classroom learning environments? I want you to reflect on the actions you will take in the coming weeks to increase the effectiveness of your classroom environment.